Hey there, welcome to the Africappella channel. This is Josh, and today we're talking about music rhythm. But before we get going,
Hey, you are. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, oh, ah, yeah, oh, ah, yeah.
so we're still setting up and waiting for the other guys to arrive. So while we wait for them, we figured, hey man, let's just share some of the information that we know. I mean, we get a lot of guys asking, how do you guys do what you do? Can you guys teach? The only way we can get to a point where we can meaningfully impart what we know and share with you guys our experiences is if the people that we're talking to are musically literate to some level at the least. So this is the whole idea behind these videos. So instead of us now pointing you all over the internet saying go check this guy out, which we will, because there's some really cool guys out there who write exceptional tutorials on music theory, but we figured, man, let's just probably have something in our space that is easier for us to now direct you back to without wasting too much time. And oh, by the way, that's Titi. Titi, say hello.
Hey!
She's busy
Hi,
eating chicken.
I'm eating.
I mean, how typical. Rhythm and tempo. What is the difference between these two? Tempo is a pace at which the music moves through time. So are we talking about a slow ballad where you're now heartbroken because now your boyfriend has just broken up with you and you now need a Tony Braxton. Break my heart. Carl Thomas for the boys, yeah baby. Or Adele. So those are slow-paced songs. So they're slow-tempoed songs. But then now you want to say you now in gym you want to get into a Zumba class and you want to amp yourself up. You're not gonna get very far with "Break My Heart." The tempo is far too slow. However, take the same song and just amp it up a bit. You know, increase the tempo. Yeah, give it a bit of a rave there. The difference here is that slow tempo, fast tempo. You go into a club, most of the songs you're going to hear in there are fast tempo songs. Nothing to do with rhythm as yet. Now let's talk about rhythm. What's rhythm? Now rhythm is essentially beats in a bar in a piece of music. Now you're thinking, what's a bar? Now I'm not talking about a place where you go get yourself a drink. In a piece of music you get a lot of beats. You know, so music is just beats. But then a bar is an equal measure, an equal grouping of those beats. That's what it is. So think and count to yourself. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, essentially, I'm just counting bars. So every time you move from 4 back to 1, you've just completed a bar. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. You just counted 3 bars. It's as easy as that. That's what a bar is. But now a bar is determined by the time signature of a song. So not all songs are on 4x4 or on common time. Some of them will be on, compound. Some of them will be on irregular time. But we'll talk about that in the future. So let's just keep it on a 4x4. Cool. Note values. What's a note value? A note value is how long a note or how many beats a note will last for. So if in a bar you have 4 beats in there, a note value is how many beats will this particular note last for. Now at a high level we have what we call a semibreve or a whole note. Now a whole note lasts 4 beats. So if we were to use the vowel E to now sing out a whole note in a 4/4, it will sound like this. So let's use E. E. Now that's your whole note. The next one in line is a half note or a minim. Oh, the difference, by the way, in the naming convention is that the Europeans, tend to use those fancy names to call these notes. But Americans, being Americans, trying to keep things nice and simple, they figured, let's just describe what these things are. It's a whole note, half note. So what's a half note? Is half of the whole note. So if a whole note lasts 4 beats in a bar, what's a half note? A half note lasts 2 beats in a bar. So how would you count a minim using the vowel E? E, 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 E. Those are minims in a bar. You can squeeze 2 of them in a bar. Cool, the next one in line is a quarter note. So a quarter is equivalent to a beat in a bar. So how would you count that with an E vowel? E, 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 E. Simple as that. Right, the next one in line is a quaver. A quaver is an 1/8, so it's half of a beat in a bar. So if you can squeeze in 4 quarter notes in a bar, how would you count that? So let's not sing it first. Let me give you a way to count it out. So you would go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. There you go. You've just counted out a measure for quavers. And how would you now sing that with a vowel? Let's use the E again. E, 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 E. Hey man, I'm already thinking of a see how all of this is in the music that you know already. Cool. So those are quavers, and then they you can break them down even further. So the next one, you've got a 16th, a 32nd, a 64th, a 128th. You don't usually find a lot of music in 128th measures type of thing, but then it's there. It's there. If you're looking hard enough, you'll find it. And as you can imagine, it runs like a baby. Cool. So if an 8th is called a quaver, a 16th is called a semiquaver, and then so it goes. So you got a demi-semiquaver, and then you get a semi-demi. Hey man, it gets quite hectic. But then we do have an article that I wrote on the Africappella website. Go up there and check it out. I'll leave the link in the description below. Take a look. Use it, don't use it type of thing. But then it will help. The next thing I want to talk about is pauses or rests. A rest and a note value. The measures are exactly the same. The difference between these two are obviously the fact that with a note value, you sing or you play the note for the duration of the beats that the note value dictates. Alternatively, a rest, you keep quiet, you pause for the duration of the value of the rest. So, if you have a whole note rest, what does that mean? You simply keep quiet for the bar. So how would you count a whole note rest? That's it. One thing to remember, even though the music says you must keep quiet, even though you have a rest that lasts, say for instance, 2 whole notes, whatever, keep counting the time in your head, because you need to know when to come back in. Gents, you need to know when to come back in. Because obviously no music consists of just whole note rest, otherwise what's the point of it? So obviously it's a mixture of a whole note and of rest and note values. I'll emphasize this again. Rhythm and tempo are different in a sense that tempo talks about how quickly you're moving through the music, and rhythm, it talks to the beats and the note values in the music itself. That's all we have for you this week. My name is Josh and this is Africappella. Do subscribe, get your friends to subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video where we talk about dotted notes, what they are and how to apply them. We out.